Hello again, this is Fletch. This is going to be the second video for the new circumcision channel, basically. Today kind of put me a little on edge, and that's because somebody tagged me in a post about these TED Talks, and the subject of the TED Talk was about privilege, gender privilege, and it was talking about how white males have the most privilege, where that may be true. I don't know. I sure as hell haven't gotten to enjoy a lot of privilege. And then again, it's straight white males, I guess. I don't know. I am not straight. I am married and do have a daughter, but that doesn't mean I'm straight. The thing that gets me is all these talks about how there's all this male privilege. And most of these talks are coming from the view of American males and white males. And this one happened to talk about in America and in Europe. Well, in Europe, they happen to have it a lot better over there than the males here in America, in the sense that over there they don't routinely mutilate their children, their boys, within the first week of life. In fact, they don't do it at all unless absolutely necessary, or for religious reasons, in which I think that's wrong, because first of all, the child themselves have not picked a religion. It is the parents forcing their religion on their child. And all these parents are going, well, it's my religious freedom, it's my religious freedom, but they're looking at the fact that they're not considering their child's religious freedom. You're supposed to help advise your child. You're not supposed to dictate their life. And when you carve your religion into them, you're working on dictating their lives. Now, I can't wait to see how much hate I'm going to get for this, because I only made about 3 or 4 comments in this whole thing, because I just couldn't take it anymore. Of course, 90% of the women agreed with it, and there were at least a lot of men that agreed with it, and I decided to put my 2 cents into it. Why not? Everybody's doing it, so what the fuck? Why not put my my input in? And I pushed about how girls have the federal protection, whereas boys do not. This federal protection even protects girls from religious and cultural aspects, which would involve genital cutting. And it even protects them against those forms of genital cutting, because there's a few different forms of it. And some of them are not as severe as what is done to men or boys. But they're still protected from those. Because it's seen as mutilation. Well, when I call male circumcision genital mutilation, I get yelled at like you would not believe, because people automatically think I'm comparing it to the worst form of female genital mutilation. which I'm not. And what a lot of people don't realize is that that only counts for about 5% of all female genital mutilation that goes on in the world. By average, more boys are mutilated in horrific ways than girls are worldwide. But yet it's seen as culturally acceptable for boys to be mutilated. We must protect the girls. Fuck off with the boys' protection. That is what is wrong with society today, and one of the areas that pisses me off the most. Everybody's screaming equality, equality, but it's only equality when it benefits them. As I was saying, I was telling about how it's a false sense of cleanliness that these boys are being mutilated. It's a false sense of aesthetics. All these people saying that it looks better when, I'm sorry, I don't think it does. I would much rather have had my own decision to make about my own body when there was nothing wrong with me to begin with. Women, it gets me every time I see a woman just talking about how they like a cut man better because it looks so much better. Bitch, have you looked at your fucking pussy? Lips hanging down and, beef flaps everywhere. I'm sorry. And when women bitch about the smell and the fact that men have smegma without realizing that they fucking produce smegma, and they have the worst fucking smelling shit ever if they don't keep up the hygiene, which they have a whole fucking aisle dedicated to. But apparently men in America cannot be held responsible to clean ourselves, so we must have that shit amputated at birth. I let people know about how it removes sexual function. It takes away sexual health because when you amputate the foreskin, you also take away the rigid band, which is what those condoms that are ribbed for her pleasure imitate. With foreskin, you don't always have to use lubrication. You've got that smooth gliding ability due to the skin. But no, now without the foreskin, you have to get the woman all totally wet and even possibly put on some lube and shit and get it all fucking, so that it's like a well-oiled piston. I had to let it be known that there's over 100 babies that die every year. And I've actually had people tell me, wow, that's not a lot. No, it's not a lot until it's your baby. When it's your child, yeah, you're going to bitch about it. Trust me. When your child dies from a non-medical necessary surgery, you're going to be pissed. Because 10 to 1, that doctor did not tell you that that was a possibility. Or he did not tell you that, there is a good fact that, great possibility that your child will hemorrhage blood from this surgery and that it only takes 2.3 ounces of blood loss from a baby to kill them. I want you to think about that. 2.3 ounces. I drink a lot of 20-ounce sodas. I drink a lot of 8-ounce glasses of water. And it only takes 2.3 ounces to kill a fucking baby of blood loss. girls are not born into this country and get their genitals surgically altered. You want to talk about privilege? This shit has fucked with me my whole life. Ever since puberty, I've been having so many damn problems because of the fact that I was circumcised as a baby, that sex has not always been that enjoyable to me. I get rips to where I actually bleed, and if I try to continue, that environment in which I'm sticking my dick will fucking hurt. Because it's got a pH balance in there. It's got its own little damp, sweaty environment. It's the truth. And yet I'm supposed to, be like, oh, well, my parents did this just for my benefit. Which there was no real benefits. Because of this decision that they did, I've now had to have fucking surgery to fix part of the problem. And now another part of the problem is becoming even more fucking annoyance. More of an annoyance. I'm getting rips more often. And it's getting in the way of me being able to perform. And my wife and I, we want a second child. And it's looking like it's not going to happen. Because of this shit. All because... well, everybody's doing it. It's the norm. When you circumcise a child, you're taking away the natural ability of the body to clean itself there. You're taking away the natural protective covering. Because I've got news for you out there who think that, cut men look better. We're not supposed to have rough skin on the head of our penis. We're supposed to have smooth and moist looking skin. It's supposed to be almost the same as your fucking clitoris. Imagine if that shit was cracked and dry and rubbed up against your fucking clothing all the goddamn time to where it built up, extra layers and also killed off nerves. That's what the fuck you're saying it looks more beautiful. It's bullshit that we have to put up with this shit. And it's bullshit that I have to see all these fucking things talk about, male privilege, when the first thing that's done to us is mutilation. There are people out there who have actually lost their penis due to circumcision, have had to have multiple surgeries because of circumcision as an infant, has had the problems that I've had because of the circumcision as a child. Wait till the fucking man is a man to do it. If he wants it done, he'll get it done. But there's another problem with this. The fucking doctors out there don't know how to tell parents how to take care of a natural, intact boy. They will sit there and tell parents to peel back the skin to clean under the foreskin, when you don't have to fucking do that for the first couple of years. Why? Because that tissue underneath your underneath your nail that holds the nail down. You know how it hurts like hell when you rip your nail and you rip it off the nail bed? It's the same fucking tissue holding your son's foreskin to the head of his penis. And you're just gonna rip it when you retract it. It's called forcible retraction, and it injures the child. And a lot of doctors will be out there and saying, see, he had phimosis. You can't say a child has phimosis. Not an infant. Because phimosis is when the foreskin is naturally able to retract, but it cannot. or it's painful. And even that does not call for circumcision. There are other things that can be done. There are steroidal creams that you can use to help stretch it out. There are a snip, a V-cut that can be done that relieves the pressure and allows for rollback. There's so much more that can be done without circumcision being the only result. The only final, the only way to fix it. My third video, when I get around to it, if I think about it, I'm going to try and have I don't know if I should call it a poem or not, but it's my idea of what it was like for me when I was born and when I was circumcised. Only difference is that I added anesthetic into the mix. Whereas when I was born, less than 40% of the people that did circumcision used any anesthetic. At least according to the National Institute of Health. And the reason that these people gave is so idiotic. Well, it's a quick surgery. They don't need it. You can't guess the right amount to give a baby. Oh, their pain receptors aren't as developed as adults. They're not going to feel it as much. These are actual responses to this questionnaire that the National Institute of Health did back in 1996, asking who used anesthetic. And these were the actual responses, that, they felt babies didn't feel pain the same way adults do. Most of the time nowadays, they shove sugar-coated, like popsicles into the kids' mouths to shut them up. A pacifier dipped in sugar water just to shut the kid up from screaming. I bought one of the boards that they put the babies on. It's called a circumstraint, and I want you to look this up. And what it is a plastic board that's molded to have like the shape of a baby, and it's got straps to hold down the arms and the legs. And I want you to think about this from a baby's point of view. Think about how, you were just born, everything's new, everything is scary, and then all of a sudden you're being taken from your parents, what are supposed to be, the people protecting you and taking care of you and looking out for your safety and your health, and whisked away to another room, placed on a board where you're strapped down. You're being made to where you cannot move, or you can't move that much. And then you're going in for a first surgery. Why? Because you're a boy. Because for some reason people think that boys are born defective by having skin that they think is extra when it's not. Imagine the trauma that child is going through. Imagine the horror that this child is feeling. It knows nothing about what is going on. And I don't want to hear people say, wow, the babies aren't really that well aware of everything that's going on. They're aware. They are aware. If you've ever really watched how babies are, they see everything that's going on. They don't totally understand, as much as we do, but it's still horrifying to them. Everything that is done within the first couple of years of life to them is new and scary. And you're going to go ahead and traumatize a child within the first week of birth because they're male. That sounds like privilege to me. Oh, I'm so privileged to have that done to me. I'm so privileged, I may not even be able to have a second fucking child. I'm so privileged that every time I fucking have sex right now, my skin rips. I am so fucking privileged, I had to have surgery to fix what fucking circumcision did to me. As a fucking child. And there's nothing that I can do, from what I understand, to sue the fucking doctor. Otherwise, I would be fucking doing that right fucking now. Because I never consented to this. And I don't want to hear this shit that, oh, well, it was in your parents' discretion. First of all, there was no fucking medical reason for it. There was nothing wrong with me. I know this for a fact. I was a premature baby, but there was nothing wrong with my fucking dick. It wasn't necessary. It fucking wasn't necessary. But hey, because I was a boy, born in that time, and the vast fucking majority of boys born in that time had to be circumcised because it was the standard. I want a lot of you who have kids to look back on your papers from the birth. Even if you have girls, because I want you to check this out, because I recently heard that there are people who even got charged circumcision when they had a girl. They got charged for it. And nowadays, the doctors are trying to push it as much as they can because it's a moneymaker. Think about how many boys are born every fucking day. And it's a double whammy because not only do they charge you or insurance for the fucking procedure, they turn around and they fucking sell the foreskin to laboratories or cosmetic companies. You don't believe me? You can Google that shit too. There's a company called Skin Medica that swear they've only used one sample, but I fucking doubt it. According to Scientific America, one foreskin can produce about $100,000 worth of fucking profit for cosmetic companies. Our fucking foreskins have become a commodity. Why do you think there's always a reason why there's always a new reason why shit needs to be done in order for circumcisions to be the needs to be done? I mean, the CDC is trying to say that we should do this to all males. All males should have it done. Fuck you. And one of the most fucking robbing Peter to pay Paul kind of situations, the laboratories that the foreskins are sold to, the laboratories are turning around and making skin grafts out of the foreskins. They're maiming a fucking child, and it has to be neonatal foreskin. It has to be newborn foreskin, because they're the ones with the most fibroblasts, which is the actual tissue that they need in order to make the skin grafts and all, so that somebody can live a better life. Without feeling maimed by an accident. Now, I understand that, yes, there are a lot of times when skin grafts actually save lives. That still does not mean that, circumcision is the way that these skin grafts should be gotten. There's actually a new technology out there that I saw the other day where they spray on stem cells onto this, people who have areas that need grafting. And I think it was within 90 minutes, it almost looks natural and will leave no scar. Stem cells can be gotten from placentas that are discarded. But here's the thing. I think parents should have a say in whether or not that happens or not. Most of the time, parents aren't told that the foreskins are going to be sold. But being male does not mean you have all the privileges in the world. I know that's not what it's saying. But it does need to be addressed that there are a lot of downfalls to being male in society, especially American society. Of course, nowadays, most people who actually research circumcision are choosing not to do it to their children. And it's for good reasons. It's because they realize it's not necessary. When the majority of the world's male population are intact and do not have the problems that everyone says you will have, it kind of throws off everything that the American medical associations say about circumcision, about the benefits about it. There are so many things that can be debunked when people say something about the the fucking benefits. And again, I don't ever want to hear a woman say about how she thinks a cut penis looks so much better, and that's why she did it to her son. That is fucking gross. That is putting your sexual preferences on your son. I don't ever want to hear a woman bitch about how, smegma is gross and it's smelly. That's because it's the natural cleaning of the body in that area. It's getting rid of it's using the natural oils down there formed by the mucosa to get rid of the dead skin cells, to get rid of the bad bacteria. It has good bacteria in it which fights the bad bacteria which produces the smell. This is biology. It is what is supposed to be happening. If you have to worry about that, tell the man to rinse his dick before sex. It's not that hard yet. Sorry, bad joke. Another thing, as I said, bad information on cleaning. Doctors will actually tell parents that they need to use soap to clean the area when you do not. Because if you use soap, you will dry out the mucosa and it will become cracked in those areas. It will allow for infections, which will cause more smell. All it takes is a warm rinsing with water. It would, to tell a man to use soap in that area would be like telling a woman that she needs to shove a bar of soap up in her hoo-ha. And I'm sure a lot of women know how bad that is. So think about that. But unlike women, we do not have a whole area in a grocery store dedicated to our feminine areas, or our masculine areas, I should say. We don't have deodorant for our dicks. That's not what the ball types are. We do not have yeast, sprays, or well, actually, we kind of do. We have like the fungal sprays for crotch rot and all, but we don't have a whole fucking aisle dedicated to us. That's my whole main point. In that one area of our body, unlike women do. I'm running out of space on my phone, so I'm gonna go ahead and let go with this for now. But I would like to hear your opinions. I would like you to tell me how this, if you agree that this is a privilege for us men, or if you totally agree with me. Let me know what you want to see me actually, attack. As I said, I'm going to try and do up some pictures and all to show what it's supposed to look like and not what society wants it to look like. I am going to go over the parts of the penis, and I'm going to even try and do a video on the form and function of the foreskin, and hopefully people will learn something from it. But until then, later.